Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In answering this question, I must first highlight the emphasis on the significance of role of legislative drafters to any government and society. Legislative drafters, also known as Parliamentary Council or Legislative Council, or statute law drafters in other jurisdictions, are exceptional, though often unseen, architects of a nation's legal framework. A legislative drafter is a technical bridge who translates policy idea or concept into precise, enforceable legal language, bridging the gap between political intention and practical, actionable law. A legislative drafter also ensures that the law is drafted with clarity, precision, and certainty, and using his or her expertise to choose every word with extreme care to minimize ambiguity and ensure law's intent is clear to all. Legislative drafters ensure new laws do not contradict or undermine existing laws. They identify which existing laws require necessary amendments or repeal to accommodate new laws. They use consistent terminology across all legislation, which is crucial for legal interpretation, and legislative drafters act as a critical first line of defense against unconstitutional or rights-infringing legislation, often advising policymakers on how to achieve their policy through law in a manner that upholds the constitutional and human rights standards. Legislative drafters are indispensable, Mr. Speaker, sir. They are non-partisan technical experts, who without them, the legal systems would quickly become chaotic, contradictory, and just mess. Legislative drafters' work, though done behind the scenes, is a cornerstone of good governance and stable society. If I may, Mr. Speaker, sir, acknowledge that one of our very own drafters, as you are aware, is Justice Alipate Ketaki. The other, sir, is the late Rupeni Rawangakuta. We lost him dearly in 2022. I also acknowledge that the Secretary Council, the Secretary to Parliament, is a former drafter from the AG's chambers. Mr. Speaker, so the government appreciates and recognizes the paramount significance the roles of our legislative drafters play in our society. From when this government entered into Parliament in 2023, we had a team of 5 legislative drafters at the Office of the Attorney General. Today, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have a total of 9 active legislative drafters, which is being led by the Chief Law Draftsperson, who has more than a decade of practical experience in legislative drafting. Our team of 9 legislative drafters is significantly larger than most of the Pacific Island countries, Mr. Speaker, including Papua New Guinea and Samoa, whilst many smaller Pacific nations, for example, Tuvalu, may have only 1 or 2 drafters, and some often rely on external consultants or support from regional organizations. Mr. Speaker, in 2023, our legislative drafters at the Office of the Attorney General assisted our ministries in translating policy to legislation, thus producing 9 bills that were tabled in Parliament, with 28 being enacted as acts. In 2024, our legislative drafters assisted ministry in drafting 23 bills that were tabled in Parliament, with being enacted as act of law, Parliament. This year, our legislative drafters assisted the ministry in drafting 36 bills till the previous sitting of Parliament, with 23 being enacted as act. In total, Mr. Speaker, sir, our legislative drafters have drafted 88 bills from 2023 to 2025, with 72 being enacted as act of Parliament. I must stress here that it is not a wise, ethical, or practical exercise for government to be engaging legislative drafters to fast-track the drafting of bills. Mr. Speaker, sir, fast-tracking the drafting of bills will lead to poorly drafted laws that are often ambiguous, inconsistent with the existing laws, contain loopholes, creating uncertainty and unintended consequences, implementation failure, and extensive litigation. Fast-tracking the drafting of bills directly challenges the principle of good governance, such as participation through consultation, transparency and accountability, and the rule of law, and ethical consideration such as duty of care, justice, fairness, and procedural justice. There can be justifiable exceptions, Mr. Speaker, for genuine emergencies, where the need for immediate action outweighs the risk of rush process. However, it should be done with transparency. This government's approach is efficient deliberation and not rush drafting. We prioritize in getting the law right over getting it fast. Mr. Speaker, a well-drafted bill allows for effective parliamentary debate and public understanding of new laws that affect their lives, fostering trust in their government. The question that we should really ask, Mr. Speaker, is whether the government is considering the recruitment of legal drafters to assist in fast-tracking the drafting of bills, but whether government is considering investing into and strengthening the capacity and resource of our legislative drafters so that they are able to overcome the immense challenges and workload whilst meeting the goals and competing political priorities of government. And what step is government taking to ensure that policy instructors within each ministry have the necessary capacity to be able to provide drafting instructions which are reflective of their individual ministry's policy intent? Government had considered this, Mr. Speaker, sir, and we have put this into action. In February 2025, two of our legislative drafters attended a policy training in Canberra, Australia, organized by the Australian Attorney General's Department. And they have in turn returned, provided training to ministries in understanding their policies, the legislative process, and bridging the gap between policy and legislation. Next month, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Office of the Attorney General, through the Legislative Drafting Division, will be organizing a legislation policy training for permanent secretaries, the policy and technical officers, and members of Cabinet Subcommittee on Legislation, so as to assist ministries in providing a clear and approved drafting instructions that correctly reflects their policy intent. We also encourage and support our drafters to attend training and conferences by the Commonwealth Association of Legislative Counsel, which organizes a yearly conference to promote cooperation in matters of professional interest among people in the Commonwealth engaged in legislative drafting. Two of our drafters attended the CLAC Conference in Australia in 2023, another two from the office will be attended in February of this year. A few of our drafters are also members of the Commonwealth Association of Legislative Councils. The attendance to this yearly conference have proven to be rewarding and impactful for our legislative drafters, and they get to engage in dialogue and learning from seasoned legislative drafters throughout the Commonwealth. The CLC conference and related legislative drafter training courses needs to be enshrined in government priorities for the development of our legislative drafters, ensuring that two or more drafters attend such conference and training for capacity building purposes. Our drafters have also taken a lead role in the Pacific region by co-organizing the first ever Pacific Legislative Drafter Conference with Pacific Island Law Officers Network, PILON, with the support of the Australian Attorney General, held in Nadi this year, on the theme, Developing Laws in the Pacific by the People, by the Pacific, for the Pacific. This PLDC conference brought together legislative drafters and senior officials from 19 Pacific countries and territories, including Australia and New Zealand, and provided a platform for drafters across the region to openly dialogue on legislative drafting opportunities and challenges, share on drafting techniques, and collaboration with stakeholders. As stated by the Solicitor General in the address as the chair of the PILON, the Fijian government therefore recognized the need for greater investment capacity building of legislative drafters. And as such, Mr. Speaker, sir, due to the increase in the number of ministries and shifting priorities, there is a need to increase the number of legislative drafters. As a matter of retention, there is also a need through government support to ensure that our legislative drafters are well resourced and provide a salary that commensurate with their specialized level of work and skills as drafters. Mr. Speaker, sir, we will continue to encourage, support, and invest in resource strengthening and capacity building for our legislative drafters, which is a goal that the government aims to achieve, a goal and priority that is reflected in the Fiji National Development Plan 2025 to 2029 and Vision 2050. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.